So first of all, huge thanks to Sarah Lenardi and the organizational team for putting together really an incredible conference. And also for putting together not just one conference, but two conferences, and particularly for really brilliantly adapting to the current world. So I think this conference has been a great example of some of the benefits of the craziness we find ourselves in, particularly the way that we can use technology to bring together people from across the world and to just give particular insight and targeted discussion about different aspects of problems. So this has been a fantastic example of what is so great about the ability to do that. So really enormous thanks to Sarah for hard work, brilliant work, really creative work to put together this experience over the last 3 days. I think this has been a particularly fantastic event to mark 50 years of the Decentralization Conference. So the first version of this was held 50 years ago in 1971 at Berkeley and organized by Roy Radner. And it's been a remarkable history. And so I think you can read in the history of this conference and the parallel conference in mathematical economics, many of the important developments in the field over that period of time. And as that continues into the future, this has been a very important series of conferences to create an important part of the field and also to bring together people over such a long period of time. And I think this particular conference has been a great example of illustrating the values of basic research, both for creating foundations for the field, but also for directly impacting the welfare and the lives of many people in a broad set of areas of life. So this has, over the last 3 days, been a huge example of that. And also to see in one spot over the last 3 days, the feedback between theory and applications and policy and practice, and how that's played out through the conversations that were created and the research that was presented. So I think, again, huge thanks to everyone who's been involved in this for putting this together. Also, huge thanks to Scott Page, who's been the person who oversees the decentralization part of this enterprise, both for making sure that there's always a fantastic conference going on every year, and for really helping to maintain this vibrant community. And last, thanks to the NSF and the NBER for their continued financial support and organizational support from the NBER. So I think this is, again, an example of, for the NSF in particular, huge returns to what is, relative to their budget, a modest investment. So I think that this series of conferences really puts out a great product every year, and does so on a shoestring, particularly this year. And maybe this is a bad example of, to put forward to the NSF that, now they'll think that we can always put up a tremendous conference at very low cost. But in any case, the support of the NSF has certainly been crucial over this long period of time to keeping this activity going and to being such an important part of the field. So, just in terms of what we might expect. So one of the things the last year has taught us is that we certainly have no idea what to expect, and the future is very uncertain. So we really don't know what the next year is going to look like. I think we can definitely hope that by this time next year, things might be normal enough that we can organize conferences in person. But I think what we've learned is we have to always stay flexible and be prepared to change plans if needed. So coming from the NBER and the NSF, they're certainly understanding that it's very hard to make specific plans for the future involving conferences or travel. And so I think it's really going to be up to each individual group what people think makes sense, what they'd like to try to put together. So we're going to just have to stay flexible to see what will happen next year. But in any case, we're definitely all looking forward to the next 50 years of this activity, and to see how the field develops in part through the input of this community and the continued series of conferences that we have. So huge thanks to everybody.